Takopi's Original Sin, Episode 3. So, one of the things I really enjoyed about this episode is gives a small recap of what happened and how it went down, and really catching you up to speed to what the current situation is with Marina being gone. And then we meet the third character who has the most screen time this episode because it does revolve around him and his own family situation and how it's affected him and how much different he behaves with Shizuka and Takopi than with his own family. So Asuma kind of followed Shizuka, and when she came back all beat up and with Takopi, he was just kind of like, oh wow, what is that thing, And then he realized, oh, you guys murdered Marina, and both Takopi and Shizuka are kind of like, yeah, so what of it? And it just really goes to show kind of like the naive naivete that both Shizuka and Takopi have, where neither of them know the severity of the situation and what's what they have actually what Takopi has done or did in accident has actually could cause like a huge ripple effect and could actually do more harm than good. And she Shizuka just kind of put it off like, yeah, Takopi just used his magic and helped me out. But Asuma let her know, like, you could go to jail. Or you could be taken there because nobody's going to believe that this alien life form was the one that committed the act. You're going to be the one that gets put the blame. And then she kind of was like, well, that wouldn't be any good because she wouldn't be able to see Chappie anymore. And she kind of like convinces Asuma to help her hide Marina any way he can. She's like, I'm not very smart. I don't read books like you. And I could really use your help this one time. And Asuma, like, not reluctantly, he sees her and sees how the kind of look she's given him, and he obliges to help her out. And they use one of Takopi's gadgets, which is kind of like this capsule, to put Marina in there, and then they use another gadget that we've seen Happy Takopi use, and it's about the one that changes his appearances, and he becomes the new Marina. And then they go and get shovels, and they dig it up and place Marina in one of the holes. And they didn't do a very good job because part of it didn't seem fully covered, which gonna play a major fact later on in the episode. But they had to make sure Takopi understood. Listen, you are playing Marina now. You cannot be your typical self anymore. You have to sell the act that you are Marina. So he goes and tries to do his best to copy Marina, but he still has his quirks. Like he still says P at the end of everything, so that undoubtedly is not gonna play well as always. And then we have Takopi goes to Marina's place and goes meets the parents, and he sees them arguing, but because that's never happened in his planet, uh, he doesn't understand that this argument is not necessarily one that they would say is love, because they're talking very serious stuff like divorce and how the mother feels trapped in the relationship or like in the marriage, and she just wanted to buy something for herself or for the house, and the father was like very reluctant to spend any more money on her. He felt that any of the money he was earning was being wasted on her. And he he didn't really have any problem wasting money on him because obviously he says he's the breadwinner, and he he deserves to be able to spend his money however he sees fit. But then we have more we have more stuff with Takopi, Asuma, and Shizuka. They start really trying to organize a plan to get Chappie because they come to realize, listen, we did something and we can't really be moving recklessly. At least Asuma. When I say they, I meant Asuma told them they can't move recklessly. And when they meet when Asuma's brother comes along, he well he didn't really see Asuma hanging out with them as much, so he was kind of taken, and everyone's like, "Oh, you have a brother?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you can." The way Asuma was talking about his brother, you could instantly tell that he doesn't have the best relationship with him, or he feels some type of way about him because he doesn't call him Big Brother. He just kind of is like, "Yeah, this is him." And one of the things that they kind of needed was money to get to fund for the trip. So they kind of plotted to steal his brother's ring that he bought because he started a part-time job, and to be able to sell it later on and teach him a lesson. Um, so Shizuka was the one that convinced him to try to do that. By the way, once again, playing her "I'm cute" card against him, just you could kind of see that Shizuka at this point is kind of like knows that Asuma will do kind of anything she wants as long as she puts on a cute face. So it, at least to me, it became prevalent that at this point she was trying to use Asuma to further her goals any way that she could. So when we get to Asuma's place, he takes Takopi and obviously some of the gadgets Takopi carries with him, and they attempt to steal the ring, and they fail because the girlfriend calls them, and they decide it's better to go out the window, use one of the gadgets that lets them fly, and it almost ends up backfiring on them right away because Asuma falls because the wings can't handle human weight. They can only handle the Happinian weight, and luckily for him, Takopi is able to save him last minute, and we get Asuma completely breaking for a bit, and we learned why he kind of despises his brother, or has some inferiority complex when it comes to his brother, and that's because his brother is has always been good at everything. He's always gotten the perfect scores. He's always taking been a good brother to him, but he doesn't like the fact that he's being punished because his brother was like the perfect child. So the mother, whenever Asuma did not bring a 100, she would like take away his food, and then the more it happened, the more Asuma kept trying to please his mother, and he kept failing and failing. So the mother really placed this burden on Asuma to try to become perfect, and especially after she told him, your brother's always doing it. You're kind of if you're not even it feels like you're not even trying at this point. So you're just kind of making it seem like you're wasting our time talking about Asuma, and that's how the mother views Asuma, like a waste of time. So Asuma kind of takes that in and is internalizing it, and goes to see Shizuka. And Shizuka, despite him failing at getting the ring from his brother, she did not kind of belittle him for it. She kind of accepted that he didn't get the ring, and she said, "Okay, we'll find another way." And this kind of broke Asuma, as he's not used to failing and being comforted by somebody. He's always at the idea that he has to be the perfect child, and just having somebody there that looks at you for who you are and doesn't expect anything more out of you. Kind of is soothing, and it puts puts off a lot of the weight that Asuma has been carrying in that moment. They still do have to uh, figure out a, another way to get to Chappie. So they start coming together more and hanging out more. And there's this nice montage where they're just hanging out, having fun. Music's nice, and it seems like happy times are coming back for all of them. And then we have to look more into Marina as we see her pot starting to stick up. So that digging was not great. It's gonna get found out. Like you instantly know, oh, it's gonna get found out. What's gonna happen once it gets found out? So at one point, Asuma asks if there's any more gadgets that Takopi has and or that they can use, because the ones he brought here to Earth were kind of ass. And Takopi's like, yeah, there's plenty of other gadgets back at home, but I'm not allowed to go back anymore. And that's kind of like alarming, because Takopi never once mentioned not being able to go back. He always mentioned like he wanted to take Shizuka to go back home, but the reason why he wanted to go back home is because they have a time travel machine there that can take him back in time. So that would be like the easiest route to fix everything. But for some reason, Takopi is now just remembering that he's not allowed to go back, and kind of leaves you wondering what could he have done that disallowed him to go back to his own home. But because he doesn't remember, he just carry on with them, and he goes and sees his Marina's mother and father again, once again arguing about what to do, and same thing about money. And they talk about how she's more uplifted now, how she doesn't seem to be as sad anymore when around them. And the father starts like asking Takopi, like, listen, you want to go back to Papa's place? Which for a moment you start to realize, oh, what Takopi was thinking before he thought about it. Takopi thought that that meant he was gonna be able to get Chappie back, so he instantly accepted Marina's father's offer about going back with him, without realizing that it meant something else, that entirely it meant that he was gonna have to leave Marina's mother there and go to some place unknown to him or to Shizuka or to anybody related to this incident. And as you instantly see the mother's kind of like seething in the corner, you don't really see her, but you can feel that she's seething, like she has something to get off her chest. And on Takopi and the mother are by themselves, the mother starts questioning her, like, hey, you've changed, Marina. You're not the one I used to know. The one I used to know never would betray me like you did. So then Takopi's like, yeah, well, it's like she gets infuriated by the way Takopi talks with Saint P at the end of everything, and she starts slapping him, and Takopi starts getting scared, because I think this pretty much traumatized them to the time Marina was beating on him for becoming Shizuka, and then the mother at one point completely stops and just tells him, like, I know you're not my girl. I don't know who you are, but please give her back to me. And she breaks down. And this is the moment when Takopi finally acknowledges that his actions had a severe consequence, where he realized that Marina had people that loved her waiting for her. And it is made even real apparent as Takopi looks around to all the photos that they have of the family being together, and he realized, oh, because I killed her, I took her away from her family. I took her away from her own happiness. I did that. And he realized there's nothing he can do anymore to bring her back because she's dead. And the one way he knows how to bring her back also kind of died along with her because it's bloodied and cannot be used anymore. And he can't even go back home to undo everything with the time machine there. So he really reflects regret. You can see he really regrets killing her, and then he reflects on his own actions and starts to wonder if he could have done things differently, how he would have done things differently, and he apologizes to Marina and to her and to her foes because obviously he can't ever bring her back, so he is just destroyed mentally. And to make matters worse, the episode ends off with some workers finding Marina's body. So, Takopi's confession episode for me, 10 out of 10.